It's a brand new day. Hey. Wake up every morning and say, it's a brand new day. Hey. Take a good day, make it great, okay? Cause if you got some lemons, make some lemonade. Yeah, taste those.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Garden Diaries. We're so happy that you're with us. Thank you so much for being on this journey with us. If you haven't already, like and share. Give us a follow on Facebook, wherever you get Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. We want to hear from you. Please leave us a comment or a like and a share, and we will get back to you. Megan, I messed up that intro, but that's fine.
Hey, this is just real life.
It's been a Friday. It's been a Friday. We have a special guest. Do you want to introduce her?
Yes, we have KB with us today.
Hello.
Welcome. We are super excited to have you here today. So, to start things off, can you just share a little bit about yourself?
I thought you were going to ask a scary question.
Oh, no, those are coming next. Don't worry.
I'm KB. My name is actually Carice Brianna. I don't go by that here, but I miss it a little bit, so I always have to tell people. What else about me? I'm 23 years old. I'm from Washington State. I'm a first grade teacher, and my husband is on staff here. He's one of the pastors, and I have the cutest baby in the world, Judah. And yeah, I can't think of anything else about myself.
You do have the cutest baby.
Thank
He's
you.
the cutest.
Thank you.
Also, Katie sent me your number a while back, like your contact, and she had your full name in it. And I was like, wait, her name isn't KB.
Yeah. I think people remember 2 letters a lot easier, so I'm like, KB, yeah.
I like it.
So thank you.
So we do have some icebreaker questions for you.
Okay.
I'm going to go first if that's okay,
Oh,
Megan.
yeah, go for it.
This one was a request.
Okay. I'm so nervous. I don't know why.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
That's a good question.
Thank you, Katie. Shout out, Katie.
That's tough. I love karaoke, by the way. That's my favorite thing. I feel like it's "And I Will Always Love You." Is that by Celine Dion?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It's a fun song to sing.
Can you give us a
I
little,
want to hear you sing that.
I will not do that. Yeah, that one's good. Or "Eye of the Tiger." I don't know why. "Eye of the Tiger" is just a good song.
It is a
to
very
me.
good song.
Packs
Get you
a
pumped
punch.
up. Yeah.
Exactly.
I need to hear you sing the Celine Dion one.
I didn't say I sing it well. I just said I
So if we get to
enjoy
like
singing it.
10,000 views, can you come back on and sing it?
10,000. No, I feel like that could happen. 40,000 views.
I was trying to think realistically.
Exactly.
40,000. You heard her,
Yes.
so y'all need to help me.
Yep.
All right. You ready for another one?
Sure.
Okay. If you could take one prop from any movie set, what would it be?
Take it.
Your face.
That was like, geez. I expect questions like, what's your favorite fruit? And that was just very different. I think I would take a jet from Top Gun.
Oh.
And just keep it in my driveway. Because then you can skip traffic. So
I like that.
Thank you.
I think your neighbors
you.
would not like you.
I don't know. I feel like it's probably bigger than I'm thinking because I've never seen a jet in real life. But I think that's what I would do.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I want to
you.
like call in a card over here to my husband and ask him like, would it fit in our driveway?
No?
He's shaking his head no. So
I'll get property for it. Yeah.
maybe a helicopter.
Are those smaller than jets?
A little bit.
Okay. They're kind of loud. Jets are probably also loud. But
Very
Oh,
loud.
very loud. You would shake the whole neighborhood.
every time I go to school, yeah.
All right, keeping it on the music theme. 'Cause
Okay.
She didn't tell you this, but she also
yeah.
leads worship.
I do.
And has the voice of an angel.
Thanks.
So if you were to change what you're doing and maybe we don't sing anymore, but we go behind and we like DJ, what would your DJ name be?
Wow. Jeez. I feel like KB can already be KB Swizzle.
Oh.
I feel like that's pretty. I like that.
Swizzling the
So
beat.
exactly. I should DJ. Yeah.
All right, she's for hire, y'all. Megan, what would yours be? I need to know.
I'm not that creative when it comes
Mine would be B Money.
She already had
Okay.
it.
I don't know. What would you name me?
I'm trying to think of one and I'm struggling.
Lattes and Lattes and beets. Beets
Oh,
and lattes.
okay. And you can give them lattes.
Yeah.
And beets. Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't
No.
know. Let me think on
We'll
it.
come back to that.
Well, that one will go on the back burner. We'll
We'll end.
We're
Plan
gonna
B.
table that, and
Yeah.
we're gonna circle back to that. I promise.
Yeah, when she comes back and sings her song, we'll have my name.
Yes. And you can DJ too.
Yeah.
Yes. That'd be great.
You gotta bring some lattes.
My latte art. Oh man. Now it's really gonna bother me that I can't think of a name.
I'm going to be thinking about it all day.
I'm gonna get a text at 2 a.m. I have it.
I got it.
All right. This is an easier one.
Okay.
What do you enjoy doing in your free time?
I feel like currently I don't have much free time.
Hashtag mom life.
Yeah. Yeah, I do this thing. It's not very good, but doom scrolling. Do you know what that is?
No.
I feel like someone said it once, and I just decided it's where you just scroll. Like after I've been with Judah all day, I just have to make my brain just stop working. So I just like to scroll a lot. But leading worship is probably my favorite thing ever. So typically, I'm probably doing something involving singing or listening to music. Yeah, I'd love to be an exerciser, but right now I'm not gonna do that. So,
Just exercise your vocal cords.
Yes.
yeah, thank you. I do exercise. My
I
bad.
feel like you lose lots of calories doing that. Like it takes a lot of like. You
It does
sweat up
take a
there.
lot of energy.
Like-
When I was pregnant, that was my form of exercise. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
All right, I have one more, right?
You have one more. I have one more.
Okay. So you can't say Jesus.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we should say that on Christian podcast. You cannot say Jesus.
Okay, let me preference my question, okay? Can't say Jesus, but if you could have dinner with anyone living or dead, that's why you can't say Jesus.
He is alive.
He is alive. Living or
And
dead.
he is alive in me. Okay, I have dinner with him every day.
Okay, Megan.
He's right here right now, actually.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's sitting across the table.
Hey.
I'm sorry. Ask your question.
hijacked my question.
It's payback for last time. I'll say be
KB,
quiet.
back to serious. If you could have dinner with anyone living or that has passed away, not including Jesus, living Jesus, and deceased Jesus, who would it be?
I don't know why. I was just hyper fixated on her for a while. Queen Elizabeth,
Ooh.
because accent, and she's a queen. So I just feel like that would also be cool. Biblical wise, maybe Paul, but Queen Elizabeth is also
I
pretty
feel like
cool.
you'd have to have such good manners to like have tea.
I didn't
together.
think about that.
Like,
Yeah.
cookies up.
And you probably can't slouch. Maybe not. But yeah, I don't know. She seems kind of
Like,
cool.
no rules. So, like, if I'm going to do this, like, it's going to be all on what I want to do. So, like,
Exactly.
we can not drink tea, maybe. We drink coffee.
Yep. Or have hot dogs. You never know. Yeah. I really like, fun fact, I really like hot dogs. That's my.
So, do you
Good
think hot
food.
dogs are a sandwich?
I think we should table that. I'm still figuring out what my conviction is about that. So
I love it.
Does that keep you up at night?
a little bit. I don't know.
All right, last question before we get into the seriousness. What's your go-to pizza toppings?
I got that one. Me and Wesley really like pepperoni and bacon. I just feel like that's pretty simple. And yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, bacon just go on
Oh, yeah,
everything. so,
everything.
yeah.
Ew.
Oh,
No bacon.
Do you eat pineapple on your pizza?
No.
Okay, well,
that
at least
would have
you're
been worse. Yeah.
I eat cheese, which is normal on a
Just
pizza.
cheese.
Yes.
well, you're not a big meat person, so
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with meat. I don't feel like I've shared this on the podcast before, but growing up, like, I was a vegan and a vegetarian for, like, most of my life. And somebody had sat me down one day and, like, showed me what they do to animals and how they kill them in slaughterhouses. And so I never wanted to eat meat because I was eating little babies. And my vision has changed a little bit because I'm married to someone that loves meat, but, like, for some reason, those little piggies, I just can't eat them. I don't know what it is.
You know, that's fair. Piglets are really cute. Bacon is also really good.
I just don't want to eat like little Weber.
Well, they're probably huge when they kill them, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
They're not
well,
like teacup pigs anymore.
Yeah, they're not very cute. They're gross. And we eat
They're
them.
like hogs.
So yeah, no bacon for me.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't like it cooked either. Like, I don't like the smell of bacon. I make him cook it outside on the Blackstone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
This is intense.
I don't like the smell of bacon. Like, when we go to Waffle House, I have to be, like, at the point where, like, I'm going to do an everything shower because it's going to make my hair smell like bacon. And I hate the smell of bacon.
Interesting.
So,
She's
like,
so serious.
but for real.
If that was like the only food you had left,
Oh, I wouldn't eat it. I would eat grass.
what if there was
With
no
the
grass?
bugs.
Because the pig ate the grass.
Yeah, what if you're on the beach? Are you gonna eat sand?
I will eat fish that I don't eat either. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
On that note,
Well, yeah.
you enjoy your pigless life.
We learn lots every time we do this. So we
I'll
really
eat the
do.
bacon for you.
All right, so we've had some fun. Thank you, KB, for being a good sport.
Of course.
I just want you kind of to share a little bit about you. I know that you're a new mom, and Megan and I can relate what being the first-time mom is. You also are a teacher and a wife and a pastor's wife, and you lead worship, and you do
lot of
small
things.
groups. So you have a lot on your plate. So I just kind of want to learn a little bit more about you and, you know, your love for the Lord, and who is KB?
Okay. So I always tell people I've been in church since like conception because my grandpa's a pastor. And so we've always been in church, which I'm very, very thankful for. But when I was younger, I would definitely say I never really thought about, I guess, what Christ did for us. Like, I was at church, but as far as salvation, it wasn't something I was focused on because I was focused on going to Awana and hanging out with my friends, stuff like that. But so I was born in Miami. We moved to Washington, so that's where I grew up. And around 13-ish, middle school, I began to kind of struggle. I didn't fit in super well, but I was trying to. So I was doing everything to be what I wasn't, which is very, very tiring. And I started to deal with depression, which I think was circumstantial and also had to do with me not having a true relationship with Christ, because I do think that plays an important role on our mental health. And so I just got into things that I shouldn't have been. And then around 15, I think life kind of came to a halt. And I got caught up for things that I shouldn't have been doing. And I remember it was on a Wednesday. My mom told me, you're going to sit down with your youth pastor and you're going to tell him what you've been doing. And even though I didn't have a relationship with Christ, I cared a lot about my reputation. So I was like, dang, everyone's going to know. And so we sat down and he asked me the question that all pastors ask. Mike has probably asked it. He asked, if you were to die today and God asked you why he should let you into heaven, what should your answer be? And I knew the answer in my head because I had grown up in church. Like, I knew church, head knowledge. And then finally at that moment, I came to the realization that I don't really know. Like, I know what I should answer, but really I have no reason to be let into heaven because I'm a sinner. We're all sinners. And I think that was the moment at 15 when I realized I really do need to have a relationship with the Lord, and I need to actually believe that Jesus died on the cross for my sins. Because I feel like when you sit in church and you hear it constantly, sometimes it's kind of just like, yeah, cool dude, whatever, you know? Yeah. And so in that moment, I had accepted the Lord as my Savior. And I would like to say life became like, oh, flowers, everything was great. But I still continue to struggle with depression because I knew the Lord is my Savior now, but I didn't pursue an actual relationship with him. And so really I got back into everything I was doing, and depression got worse. I had to get a lot of help. And then at the age of 17 at summer camp, they talked about what a relationship with the Lord actually looks like. So I was saved, but I wasn't reading my Bible. Prayer wasn't super important to me. And it was in that moment that I had made the promise of the Lord and the promise to myself to actually pursue a relationship with him. And I also made the decision that whatever the Lord pushed me towards in life, that was what I was going to pursue. So recently I posted something about being a teacher and how I never would have pictured myself as a teacher or married to a pastor or having a baby at the age of 23. But I just felt like there were a lot of open doors to that life that the Lord was opening, and there were also a lot of closed doors to the life that I kind of wanted. And so that's how I got to where I am today, having a baby and pursuing ministry myself. And yeah, I feel like that's everything. But I would say I'm really grateful for the childhood I had, but I'm also really grateful that I wish I would have gotten saved younger, but being 15, I kind of understood more of what I was leaving behind in order to pursue the Lord.
That's
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
I have a question.
Okay.
So your husband is I would say, middle school and high school pastor.
Yep.
At our Pace campus. How does that kind of resonate with your story? It sounds like it's probably relatable for him in the sense that you sat down with your youth pastor, and that's when you really kind of like had that aha moment. Do you feel like, I know that you're involved with his ministry. I mean, I think any pastor's wife can say that it's their ministry, but like you're in the shadows or you're right beside them. How do you feel like that has equipped you to help young kids kind of in the same state that you were in?
I think it's helped a lot, and I think you can definitely see the Lord's handprint on that, because when there are students who struggle with some of the things that I struggled with, sometimes Wesley's really wise, so typically he doesn't have to bounce anything off of me, but typically I have something that I can add to the conversation, or just things that I was involved with. The girls feel more comfortable to talk to me about it because it's something I had walked through. If that makes sense. So I'm definitely grateful that someone like me who struggled is married to someone who now reaches out to people like me. So,
Yeah.
thanks.
I know you mentioned that, you're a new mom. And I know for myself, motherhood has been the most rewarding, but one of the most hardest things I've ever done. Only because now, like, these littles are looking up to me. And so as you've entered into this journey, what has the Lord been showing you? Because I know what, you said you're 23, new mom. And no matter what age, like, you walk into motherhood, it's a whole new ballgame.
It's a lot.
So speaking to, other moms who may be walking through the same thing, because I know there were nights where there were so many sleepless nights, and my son, whenever he was little, he had some breathing issues, so I feel like I was always like on edge, like, like, is he okay? Is he breathing? But like, what is something that, as the Lord is teaching you as a new mom, in those sleepless, restless, long days, that He's teaching you in this period of your life?
I think, honestly, being a mom has kind of drawn me closer in my relationship to the Lord. First of all, because I'm wholly dependent on Him. I remember I had gotten home like 2 days, and when I first got home, I was like, I'm not going to wake Wesley up ever, because I'm the one who has to feed him, so I'm just going to do it all on my own. And then 2 days later, I remember I opened my Bible and I was reading the passage about casting your burdens on the Lord, because I was like, this is going to be a long 18 years. But I'm for real. But I realized that, first of all, I could turn to Wesley for help, but Judah was a blessing to me, that the Lord had chosen me to be his mom, and I'm the one who gets to help him figure out who the Lord is and who gets to witness to him, really. So I think something I've been learning is just depending on the Lord completely, because I don't know the first thing about being a mom. I'm figuring it out, obviously, but I just think the Lord has put me in this position for a reason, so it's where I'm supposed to be. On those hard, sleepless nights, that's just, who else is going to do it for him? So
I read something that really resonated with me when I became a mom, and it was like perspective. And I always talk about like perspective, like changing your perspective depending upon like where you're at in your season. But like, one thing that I hate doing is like laundry. But beyond anything, like, laundry is the one thing that I hate doing. I don't hate like the act of putting it in the washing machine and putting it in the dryer. That's easy.
Folding it.
Right. And putting it away. However, what I read something, and it was so like, to what you were saying, it caught me off guard, where it was like, you are blessed by these kids, and these kids are not going to be little. And one mom, what she does is she separates the laundry for each kid, and as she's something that's like normally a burden, right? Laundry. She prays over it and thanks the Lord and like looks at the clothes and how little they are and the season that they're in. And like it almost brings me to tears because it's like they're so little for such a blimp of time. And like we complain, I complain a lot about like the stupid stuff, like the laundry and then this. But like if you like to your point, cast your burdens on the Lord and allow Him to bring you through that and shift your perspective through the mundane, hard things. Like imagine what that would look like. So like I don't do it all the time. Like Mike is in the room. I can't lie and say that I'm like sitting there folding laundry, happy as a clam. Like I'm half the time I'm really frustrated. But like when I can take a moment to step back and be like, praying over each individual child, because I think that's so important. And like it dawned on me like what you said is so helpful as a mom, I think, to just like take a step back, take a breath, and rest in the comfort of the Lord and the blessings that you have. Because I think we forget because we just get so bogged down, like, and it's so overwhelming. And like you shared a little bit about like depression. Like I struggle with anxiety, and like I get to the point where I'm like, I'm a tornado, and like Mike's like, what is happening? And I'm like about to blow, you know? And it's like I need to take a step back and like rest in the Lord and let Him carry my burdens.
That's good. It's funny that you mentioned like I actually hate putting in the laundry and in the dryer, like because I'm just always go. Like I always forget about it. Well, Ryder's at an age now that's his job, and it's so it's so
nice.
great. I'm like I don't do it anymore, but
I don't trust my kids with that process.
It's just the moving.
Okay.
Like I'll put the laundry detergent and start it. It's just the moving of it. Because I'll hear the thing, but I'll be doing something else. I'll hear the little tune it does, and I'm like, Ryder, it's time to move it over.
Ding ding ding.
But I've actually, now, I don't always like want to make the time, but sometimes I actually look forward to doing like folding the laundry because I get to sit for just a minute.
That's true.
And I'm like, all right. And I'll put on like music and it's like my time to like, but I do like the thought of like praying over your kids, like as you're folding their laundry. That's a really cool like thing. I might have to start implementing that.
Yeah. I think it's like perspective, right? Like we can get lost in what this world wants for us, and then we can get lost in what you said, like the blessings of the Lord and like where He put you, and like He put you there for a reason. And I think sometimes we're like kind of mad because like that's not where we wanted to be, and like He's like, well, you don't know best.
That's where you're gonna be.
Yeah. And so we get like bitter, like I get bitter, and I think sometimes I need to just stop and be like, Lord, you have blessed my life immensely. And you know, like to what we always say, obedience brings blessings. Like I need to rest in the fact that you put me there for that reason. And if I shift my perspective in the moment, imagine how much like calmer my nerves would be. Like we shouldn't have anxiety. We read that in Philippians this week in our Bible study. And it, you know, is talking about have no anxiety, and we should cast all our anxiety on the Lord. And we both looked at each other like, how's that possible? We
can do that.
Yeah. But I mean, I think we're just all trying to make it. Like we're all literally figuring out ourselves and figuring out being moms and working and doing all the things. And yeah, it was good.
Thank you.
Is whether it's in ministry or in your walk through this new journey of motherhood, is there any scriptures that the Lord has just provided you with as far as comfort, and whether it's in whatever capacity, whether it's ministry or motherhood or both? Is there something the Lord has laid on your heart?
Well, as for far as motherhood, so a couple weeks before we gave birth to Judah, those guys came in. It was a son and a father, and they preached together on parenthood. And one of the verses he read, I think it's Psalms 127, verse 4, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. And so just as I'm, obviously right now, I'm not really character building with my 3-month-old. We're kind of just surviving. But as I get older and just as I pray for him right now, things I think about is how am I building him up to be an arrow for the Lord in the future. So right now it's just prayer, how I pray for him. But in the future, I think when I'm upset or frustrated and I react, am I reacting in a way that's going to help him in the future when he's a father or when he's just an adult. So I think that's something I've clung to as far as motherhood. As far as just life, and a verse I would have ingrained in my head when I was a teenager, it would be Jeremiah 29:11. And so, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. Just because when I was a teenager and struggling with depression, I was kind of just like, when does life get better? Does it even get better? And so obviously when I thought of better, I probably thought, oh, making a whole bunch of money, doing all this. But just the plans that I see that the Lord had for me now, I'm so grateful for them. And so I think that's a verse that I'll just continually cling to, especially when times are hard. He has plans, and this is just for a season, or maybe there's a reason for that season, if that makes sense.
That's really good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Jeremiah is our book as our family, but like Jeremiah 1:5 is our family verse, and it's for I've known the plans for you in the womb, like for Riker. So that's how when we adopted Riker, we kind of adopted that verse that, you know, God knew that he was going to be ours even before he was, you know, in the womb. So I love Jeremiah. I was going to ask you, because you kind of alluded to it, but same kind of like token, if you could go back in time to younger KB, to middle school KB who's struggling, and give her a piece of advice, what would you give her?
I like that question. I would tell her to stop focusing on the things happening in the world and to kind of have more of a heavenly mindset, if that makes sense. I was thinking about it yesterday. I think the reason that life is just kind of not easier, because obviously different struggles right now, is because instead of being focused on what other people are thinking of me and just of the things that can happen in the world, I'm more focused on God's opinion of what I'm doing, and if what I'm doing is glorifying to him. Obviously, as a middle schooler, that's such a hard concept to grasp, but I was so worried about other people, and that is why I spiraled, because I was so wanting to fit in. So I would tell her, you're exactly who God wanted you to be. Just stop struggling on whether or not Kim or whoever likes you, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I feel like we still, again, I say we because I like want to make myself feel better. I feel like I still struggle with that.
It's hard, especially as a pastor's wife, too.
I think your eyes are on you, and like I have to remind people like I'm not perfect, and I'm going to fail you every single day. I'm going to fail you in every capacity. I am figuring out my walk with the Lord, and I am trying every single day to pick up my own cross and lay it at the feet of Jesus. And you know, without him, I'm nothing, and I don't deserve the life that I have. And I think it's really hard though, because we talked about this a lot, but like that mindless scrolling that you do, and like seeing these people, and you're like, oh my gosh, they have like the perfect life. Like, do they struggle like I struggle? Like, are they eating Oreos on their like closet floor crying? Because like that's me. Like, where are those people at? Like, but I mean, I think middle school is such a hard time too. Like high school was hard too. I think you have seasons of life where it's really, really hard. And I think to your point, I think it's just shifting that perspective of like, are you trying to please the world? Or are you trying to please the Lord? And if we lived like that, what would our lives look like?
And we'll never please the world. If you think about it, as a Christian, we're definitely not going to please the world.
Right.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any final questions before our last?
I do.
Okay.
So what would you, so we talked about like what KB would say to KB when she was struggling. What would KB say to somebody that maybe is listening, that maybe they're not like a teenager, but they're in a season of life where they're in depression, and maybe they are, you know, consumed with other people think about them, or maybe they're a new mom. What piece of advice would you give them right now in this moment?
I think as a new mom, I would probably say, be careful about what you take in, if that makes sense. So as far as doom scroll, I've like on Instagram, I had to change, like start liking different things so I wouldn't constantly see people telling me like, oh, my baby's rolling over and they're like 10 weeks or whatever. So I would just probably be more careful of what you take in, because social media can be so harmful, so harmful. And I would say if you have a partner or if you have a husband, let them help you. Because I think as moms, sometimes we're like, I know it all and I can do it better. And maybe we can do it better, but it's okay if they're trying to help, take on the help, because I don't think we should have to do it alone.
That's good.
that would be to new moms. I think as a person who's just struggling in general, I would cling to that verse and just know that the Lord has plans. And sometimes depression is just a chemical imbalance thing. There's not really much you can do to get out of it. But I'd say in those moments, seek the Lord first. It's easy to seek friends and just seek the things that we can see. But the only person who truthfully can get you out of it is going to be the Lord. And just know that he has plans for you, and it's worth sticking around for.
That's good.
Thank you.
To kind of piggyback off what you were saying to new moms and like how in that comparison trap that you can fall into on social media, I think back, like both of my kids are very different. The Lord made them like with their little quirks and their little things, and it was easy to like, oh well, Ryder walked at 9 months, why isn't Addie walking yet? And like I feel like sometimes we're always in a rush to like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, instead of like just soaking in those moments because they are so fleeting. Like Addie, she didn't get her first tooth till she was like 15 months. I was afraid she didn't have teeth at one time. And I was like, I went to the pediatrician. I was like, I mean, she's eating, she's gumming everything, but like, where are her teeth at? And she's like, they'll come in whenever she's ready for it. And it's like, so every child is different, and like, we don't have to sit there and like, well, this kid's doing this kid's doing that, like my kid should be doing this. It's like, no, the Lord made your baby exactly how they are. And he gave you that baby to raise, and like, stop focusing on everybody else's children. They're worried about raising those babies. You focus on the one that the Lord is, or however many the Lord gives you, and soak those moments in, because those are the moments you're not going to remember other kids, their memories from their childhood. You're gonna walk away with the memories of your babies. I think it's so easy to get caught up in that comparison trap, and I've been in it and submersed in it, and it's just remembering like, these are my babies that the Lord has blessed me with and entrusted for me to raise. Like, I need to be focused on them, and even if they don't get teeth until they're almost a year and a half, it's fine.
I do have a question. It's kind of a weird question, but I was not called to be a teacher for a lot of reasons. My patience is not there, not the greatest with patience. So my job does not involve being around kids all day and then coming home to my own kids. This is new for you because you just had your baby, and this is going to be your first year where you're going to have your own set of kids, and then you're going to come home to your son.
Own kid, yeah.
How are you prepping your, like, just your, I guess, your well-being and like who you are to walk into that? Like, what are you doing so that you don't get, maybe you are like, have the patience of a saint?
No, I don't.
Like, what practices are you taking?
I know. So I'm not a very huggy person. With kids, typically I will do it because they're children. During the school year, I'd always be like, okay, let's just hug at the beginning of the day and hug at the end of the day. Because if I hug too much, I get like touched out. So things like that. I set boundaries with students because I just think boundaries are important, and we can teach them that at a young age. So having that boundary helps, because then typically at the end of the day, I'm not drained, and I'm hoping that works. Obviously, when I go home, Judah's just so cute. I can't imagine not. But that helps, and then it helps typically Wesley and I kind of partner on house stuff. So then when I get home, I don't have to be super focused on, oh, now I have to clean the house, I have to do this. I have that time that I can spend with him. I'm also, maybe I'm gonna, when I get home at first, take a little bit of time by myself, so it's not exposure to other people's kids, now exposure to my own kid.
Yeah.
But those are, I feel like I have to trial and error it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking those are some things that should help, but
I think we're going to have to
We'll have to
circle
see.
back after maybe 5 months. We'll have to have you back on the pod.
Did it work? How's
Like,
being a
how's
mom
it
now?
going?
Yeah.
Let's
That
do
would
a
be
check-in
fun.
chat.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
I just I think like I struggle so much with anxiety. I think that like patience is like something that I pray for every single day. Like I wake up praying for patience. I wake up for the Lord to soften my heart for patience. And I'm like, y'all like don't get enough credit for the things that y'all put up with, and like not put up with, but like you get to, I know that you see it, and it's a ministry because you're helping to shape these beautiful minds for the next generation, and like God has blessed you with that, and like that calling is so amazing. I think because I'm not in that calling, I'm like, I'm
How
just
do you
like,
do it?
how do you do that?
Yeah.
But like it's like you just don't get enough credit. Like y'all don't
Thank
get
you.
paid enough. You don't get enough credit. Like, I just want you to know that, like, I admire you for that because I could not.
Thank you. Well, being in Christian school helps because when they're just doing some things that it's like, you don't need to be doing that.
Yeah.
Typically, I can be like, do you think the Lord likes that? And they're like, dang. And I'm like, we got to build character right now. We're going to
love
build
that.
character.
I think I'm going to
so.
start using that. Hey, Addie, you think the Lord likes you right now? What you're doing?
And they're like, no. I'm like, let's pray. Let's go ahead and pray. So Christian school helps. Praise the Lord for that.
I love that.
Yep.
I think it's speaking from. I mean, I've only been a mom right or 7, but the biggest thing that I've been learning that older moms have kind of poured onto me, and just a word of encouragement for you, to show yourself some grace, because there are going to be times where you're going to have to apologize to your kids because you lose your temper or you mess up, and I think it's important for our babies to see that we're not perfect. But we're trying to mirror Christ, and being able to show that sometimes you have to ask for forgiveness, because we're not perfect people, even though I feel like sometimes people expect perfection from mothers, and that's very hard mentality to get out of. But just sometimes and having some time to yourself is okay, because sometimes we need that, like, refresher, and we're like, all right, let's go back in.
I'm ready now. I have the tiger. I'm ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. You need to go to the closet
Turn
and
it
sing.
up.
Just sing that really loud. You're like, and then
ready.
you come out. I expect
out
a
of the
video of this.
Ready for motherhood. Yeah.
That should be like our teaser video for this podcast.
Instead of ready for first grade, you're ready for
Ready for motherhood. Yeah.
I love it.
That is good though, the grace thing, because I know sometimes, like, if I forget some things, there was a time where he had a blowout and I didn't have the diaper bag, and I was like, that was really, but showing, because I'm a mom and
Yep.
I'm gonna make mistakes.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah.
just how it be.
Hey, I mean, as long as they're fed and loved, that's
Alive.
yes.
Who needs diapers? Just let them run around.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Trail of
Be free. Are we ready for the moment at the well?
I think so.
Okay. So we like to typically end our podcast with something we call moment at the well. But is there something you could share, just something quick, that was a pivotal
That's a good word.
hard word.
I can't.
like
Sorry,
that one.
pivotal moment where God just, like, met with you, and it could be in the midst of motherhood, it could have been in ministry, or you could have already shared it with you. That's great, but just something that, like, just really drew you into your relationship and strengthened your relationship with Him.
I would say it was that time at summer camp where I made the decision that I was just going to pursue whatever he put me in. If that meant ministry, that was what I was going to do. If I was struggling with college decisions, between going to a public college and then going to a Bible college, and it was a very strict Bible college. And I remember just asking, is that really what I want to do? And I knew I did not want to go there, but I just had this conviction that the Lord was telling me to do it. And making that decision is the reason I'm in Pensacola, and it's the reason I met Wesley. And so I would say just that time of telling myself, I don't want to do it, but the Lord wants me to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. And that has played a role on every other decision that I've made in my life, is reminding myself, you made the vow that you're going to pursue whatever the Lord tells you to. And so I would say that was my moment. And because of that, I've been able to grow closer to the Lord, because I've just had to have faith that when he tells me to go somewhere and I don't know what it entails, I know that he will provide and he has a plan. So
Really good.
I'd say that was I like moment at the well.
I can't take credit for that slogan.
Who was it? Oh, it's just
It was the pastor in the room.
The man behind the camera.
Pastors always do it. Yeah. But, yeah.
He definitely, again, shout out to Mike, best husband ever, literally does everything for the podcast, but also gives us inspiration, ideas to think differently, just because he's an outside perspective. And I think what he does is amazing. I couldn't thank him enough. But you also help us with inspiration. So thank you, babe. We love you.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna have to have him. So last podcast or episode, if you all listened, it was our husbands, but it was before we had the cool snazzy video. So we're gonna have them back on so people know
For
who
round
he is.
2 of questions. Because
Yeah.
I re-listened to that and I'm like,
We were nice.
we were very nice. We're like,
Too nice.
we need to come back and do a little bit more deeper questions.
It's funny.
Well, I think it was just like more of like a fun.
Oh, yeah, it was
lighthearted
totally
one. But yeah, to your point, like we were nice, and I don't think we dug into half of what we really could dig into when it comes to marriage, which is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I had so much fun.
Appreciate it. If you want to hear the voice of the angel sing,
LOL.
you can visit her.
10,000 views, please.
40,000.
Well, I was going to say they could also visit the Pace campus. So Marcus Pointe, if you're local to Pensacola, or if you're in Pace or Milton, wherever you're listening, there is a Pace campus. Meets on
Sunday. You mean where?
Yeah.
Oh, so I was like Sunday. Wallace, like K through 8. It's awesome. I encourage you come out there. It's pretty
Awesome.
great.
So you could hear her sing there, unless you want to help us with our, our likes.
Following.
We could hear some Celine. If you
Yeah, you're not gonna hear Celine at Pace, but yeah,
Also, we did have a worship night recently with our
that was so fun. I think
women's
about
ministry. Yeah, and
the
KB rocked the house.
That's funny.
So if you are a woman in the area and would love to hear, we would love to have you a part of our ministry. So we'll drop that in the link too.
And we're going to have another worship night in November,
We
right?
are.
Oh.
So we are going to do another worship night.
Just so
in
you know.
November.
Thank
So,
you.
Put that on your calendar.
He'll be there. So KB will be there in November. So if you want to come, and then we'll have her back in a couple months to see how our journey's going as
Yay,
mom
I'm
and
down.
being a teacher.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Well, thanks y'all for joining us. I hope that you subscribe if you haven't already, or liked or commented on this, and hopefully we can hear some Celine. Otherwise, if you need anything from Megan and I, you know where to reach us. DM us. We would be happy to connect with you, pray with you. If you have a prayer request, we'd love to hear from you. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
It's a brand new day.